Welcome to our in-depth analysis of one of the most debated questions in American politics: Democrats versus Republicans, who's better for the economy. Whether you're a policy enthusiast or just trying to understand how political choices impact your wallet, stay tuned as we break down economic policies, historical impacts, and what each party brings to the table. In the United States, the economy often becomes a central battleground in political discussions, with Democrats and Republicans offering distinct approaches to economic management. The question arises which party's policies lead to a healthier economy. Today we'll explore the historical performance of each party's economic strategies, analyze their key policies, and examine the real-world impacts of their governance on economic growth, employment, and overall prosperity. Presentation of challenge. The debate over who's better for the economy is more than a political talking point. It affects real people's lives. From job creation to taxation, government spending, and regulatory policies, the economic decisions made by elected officials shape the nation's economic landscape. With two distinct approaches, one favoring government intervention and social safety nets, and the other advocating for free market principles and limited government, understanding these differences is crucial for making informed decisions. Number 1. Historical context and economic performance. Democratic administrations have focused on increasing government spending to stimulate economic growth, especially during recessions. For instance, Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal during the Great Depression and Barack Obama's response to the 2008 financial crisis are prime examples of democratic strategies aimed at boosting the economy through direct government intervention. Republican economic policies often emphasize tax cuts, deregulation, and reducing government spending as a means to stimulate growth. Ronald Reagan's supply-side economics in the 1980s and Donald Trump's tax reform in 2017 reflect the Republican belief that lower taxes and less regulation spur economic activity and job creation. Taxation policies. Democrats advocate for progressive taxation, where higher-income individuals and corporations pay a larger percentage of their income in taxes. This approach aims to reduce income inequality and fund social programs. For example, Joe Biden's administration has proposed increasing taxes on the wealthiest Americans to fund infrastructure and social services. Republicans often favor lower taxes for individuals and businesses, believing that this will lead to increased investment and job creation. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, spearheaded by Trump, lowered corporate tax rates significantly with the goal of stimulating economic growth. Number 3. Government spending and social programs. Democrats generally support increased government spending on social programs such as healthcare, education, and welfare. This spending is intended to support lower-income families and address social inequalities. For example, the Affordable Care Act aimed to expand healthcare coverage to millions of Americans. Republicans typically advocate for reducing government spending and focusing on deficit reduction. They argue that excessive government spending can lead to higher national debt and inefficiencies. Programs like Medicare and Social Security often become focal points in debates over spending cuts. Number 4. Regulatory policies. Democrats often support more stringent regulations on businesses, particularly in areas such as environmental protection, labor rights, and consumer protection. They argue that these regulations are necessary to protect public welfare and ensure fair business practices. For instance, the Obama administration implemented stricter environmental regulations to address climate change. Republicans generally push for deregulation, arguing that reducing regulatory burdens on businesses will lead to increased innovation and economic growth. The Trump administration rolled back numerous regulations, including those related to environmental protection, with the intention of boosting economic activity. Number 5. Employment and labor market. Democratic policies often focus on increasing the minimum wage, supporting labor unions, and enhancing workers' rights. These measures are aimed at improving wages and working conditions for lower-income workers. The proposed increase in the federal minimum wage to $15 per hour is a notable example. Republicans typically emphasize job creation through business-friendly policies, such as tax cuts and deregulation. They argue that these policies lead to more job opportunities and higher wages as businesses grow and expand. Number 6. Economic growth and stability. Democratic economic strategies often prioritize long-term stability and equitable growth. They argue that investing in infrastructure, education, and healthcare can lead to sustained economic benefits. The American Rescue Plan, which included direct payments to individuals and support for small businesses, reflects this approach. Republicans often focus on short-term economic growth driven by lower taxes and reduced regulation. They argue that these measures can quickly stimulate the economy and create jobs. The strong economic growth observed during the Trump administration's early years is cited as evidence of this approach's effectiveness. So, which party's economic policies have proven to be more effective? The answer is complex and depends on various factors, including the economic conditions at the time and the specific policies implemented. Historical data shows that both parties have experienced periods of economic prosperity and downturns. For instance, the 1990s under Clinton saw significant economic growth, while the 2008 financial crisis under Bush and Obama led to a prolonged recovery period. Similarly, the pre-pandemic economy under Trump experienced strong growth, but the COVID-19 pandemic brought new challenges that required bipartisan solutions. In conclusion, the question of whether Democrats or Republicans are better for the economy does not have a straightforward answer. Each party's policies have their strengths and weaknesses, and their effectiveness often depends on the broader economic context and implementation. Democrats tend to focus on government intervention and social support, while Republicans emphasize tax cuts and deregulation. The impact of these approaches can vary based on current economic conditions, global events, and other factors. Ultimately, the best approach to economic policy may involve elements from both party strategies, tailored to address specific challenges and opportunities. Understanding the nuances of each party's economic philosophy can help voters make informed decisions and contribute to a more balanced and effective economic policy framework. Call to action. What do you think? Do you believe one party's economic policies are superior to the others? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analyses and political discussions. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the complex world of politics and its impact on our everyday lives. Thanks for watching.